Hello, I'm Nancy Cordes at the United Center in Chicago. Welcome to a special Democratic National Convention edition of America Decides. It's night 3 here in Chicago. We've already heard some sound checks this afternoon from big-name performers like Maren Morris, John Legend, and a short time ago, Stevie Wonder. They're preparing to bring down the House tonight. It's also Tim Walz's big night. The Minnesota governor also did a walkthrough earlier today ahead of his keynote address tonight, where he will formally accept the Democratic Party's vice presidential nomination. Big night for him. Also speaking this evening, former President Bill Clinton. He's going to be delivering his 12th consecutive convention address. He's been doing this for 44 years, believe it or not. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg will also speak, and we're going to hear from former Speaker Nancy Pelosi as well. Those speeches come on the heels of former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama, the pair making their case for Kamala Harris last night, rallying voters with back-to-back stem winders. Take a listen.
Now it is up to all of us to fight for the America we believe in. And make no mistake, it will be a fight.
Consider this to be your official ask. Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something.
Do something. And what are they going to do tonight? Well, for that, I'm going to go now to Weijia Jiang and Ed O'Keefe. Ed is on the floor. Weijia's here with me. It is a White House unit reunion. It is great to be together with the two of you. So, Ed, I'm going to start with you down there on the floor because you experienced all that energy firsthand. It was off the charts when the Obamas spoke. What was that like? And tell us more about how Democrats are planning on following that up tonight.
Yeah, it was the First Lady's night. I think more than former President Obama, in that she so forcefully laid it all on the line. Even that explicit, this is Michelle Obama asking you to do something. This is one of the most admired, famous women in the world. Knew full well that by re-engaging in partisan politics, she was inviting criticism, scrutiny, attacks on her. And she warned her party that they're coming in a way that I think, many of them knew in this hall and perhaps needed to be reminded. Also, that talk at the beginning about the mood, that feeling in your gut that it's been a tough several years. You may not have hope anymore, but that something may be happening here. A nod to her husband's legacy, that movement that he began in 2008, but also capturing a moment in the American psyche that, yes, perhaps something is happening with the Harris campaign now underway, this snap election in November. And, already you're hearing talk that because of that ability to capture the mood, the way maybe Mario Cuomo did in 1984, or her husband did 20 years ago this summer, it could ultimately rank as one of the most memorable, effective convention speeches ever given. If you thought Lil Jon was a lot last night, as you were alluding to, Nancy, it seems the Democratic Party has a few more up their sleeve tonight. We heard sound checks earlier today for Stevie Wonder. We know that John Legend is being joined by Sheila E. for a tribute to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Those are, reminders that this party in so many different ways is trying to make connections with voters, in this case, culturally. If it isn't Tim Walz on stage or Bill Clinton tonight that draws you in, maybe it's a clip of Stevie Wonder performing tomorrow morning in your Instagram feed, or the sight of John Legend here on stage that makes a younger voter think twice about this election. Whatever it takes, it seems the Democratic Party is pulling out all the stops to make it happen.
Speaking of Little John, Ed, it appears, and I don't know if you've got a monitor down there and you can see this, but it looks like you photobombed him last night during his big moment. You were just a few feet away from one of the men of the evening right there. What was that like?
It was, we're standing here at center court of the United Center, and Lil Jon just, strolls out the way he did. And you think to yourself, all those years of studying journalism and political science and covering campaigns, and it comes down to moments like that. Definitely a highlight. And look, the reality is you get packed in down here. We were over watching New York throw its delegates at Harris, and Spike Lee was standing there with them, handed me his phone, and said, could you take a few pictures? I said, well, look, if the movie director is telling me to take pictures for him, I will oblige. Kind of crossed the Rubicon there a little bit, but it's Spike Lee. It's that kind of night. It's that kind of place. And there's going to be more of it tonight and tomorrow. Look, there is a element of Hollywood and the music industry that favors Democrats and is willing to do what they can to help. And the Democrats said, come to Chicago.
Who knows who you could run into tonight? Weijia, you had an opportunity last night to get sort of a preview of what Tim Walz, who's delivering the keynote speech tonight, might say. Let's take a listen to a little bit of what he had to say last night and then talk about what we'll hear tonight.
You run a campaign based on fear like them, you're going to run into a little trouble when you run into a campaign that's based on joy.
He's been talking about joy a lot. Is that what we're going to hear tonight?
He's been talking about joy since the moment he was really introduced as her running mate. And it's not just him talking about it. Anytime that the campaign has put forth anybody who has known Governor Walz from his past to his present, they talk about the fact that he is a jolly guy and that he has big girl dad energy and that he is just happy-go-lucky, which is built into his personality. And it's also now become part of the campaign strategy to draw a contrast between them and the Republicans. And so I think we'll hear a lot more of that. And we heard yesterday from the second gentleman as well, who portrayed his wife as a joyful warrior. And I expect that will be the case too, Nancy, because it's not enough that he is a happy guy, right? He has to show that he can transfer that personality into real action and make deals and make changes for Americans. And tonight's theme is a fight for our freedoms. We've already heard Governor Walz talk about his very personal story about he and his wife having to use fertility treatments to conceive their children. And I do expect him to go deeper into that tonight as well. And before we move on, I have to say, because I wouldn't be doing my part on this reporting team, if I didn't just say Nancy and Ed, it's actually Lil
John.
Lil
I
John.
realized that as soon as I said it, that I stuck the T's in there.
It's okay.
It's Lil John.
But
that was very unbrat of me.
Big Walz tonight.
Yep.
Big waltz for Walz.
Big Walz.
It's his big dance. So really it's his chance to introduce himself to America in a new way.
And Ed, he's going to be introduced tonight by one of his former students. Actually, one of his former 7th graders. He was his basketball coach and his track coach. And you had a chance to speak with a former high school student of Walz's as well. What did he have to say?
So there's going to be, I think, about 14 of them on stage at some point tonight. Football players, students who know him from Mankato. We spoke with John, who was a defensive tight end on the team, about Mr. Walz earlier today and what he's expecting you might hear tonight. Did you ever think you'd be in Chicago to see your old high school football coach get nominated as Vice President of the United States?
You know, came a certain point when you saw the opportunity and you know, as he was a football coach and then moved into politics, you saw that the way he was able to communicate translates well.
What do you think is maybe the biggest misconception about him?
Well, I don't know. You know, you've seen a lot of people throw things at the wall, and I don't think anything's really sticking.
Nancy, you're also probably going to see a few of these tonight from the Minnesota delegation. They brought their red flannels for tonight's big speech. This is Bernie.
Bernie, yes.
What part of the state are you from?
I live in New Brighton, Minnesota. I'm originally from Duluth.
And what do you make of your governor getting picked and having this big night?
This is a big night, and we are very excited and very proud. I can't tell you what it means for me to be here. I actually get to work with the governor on a pretty regular basis. I'm the president of the Minnesota AFL-CIO.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah, you do.
So that's a big deal, and just to be here and be with the Minnesota delegation, it's been an amazing, I mean, just the lead up, right? I mean, first we knew that Vice President Harris was going to be the candidate, and then everybody was sitting on pins and needles, and we certainly shared a number of pictures with our governor on Facebook, a lot of us, and so that was a lot of fun. But to be here tonight and knowing that he's going to speak, I can't tell you how proud I am, and just there will be some tears, I'm sure. It's going to be an emotional evening, but we're just in a great mood and ready for this to happen.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
It's going to go great.
All right. Thank you, Bernie, for saying hi. Nancy, they're going to stick out real fast, so we figured we'd give you a taste of it. But back up to you.
Thanks so much, Ed. Yeah, one of the most memorable moments of Barack Obama's speech last night was when he said that Tim Walz has a lot of flannels in his closet that look like they've been through some things. Ed O'Keefe on the floor, Weijia Jiang here with me. Thanks so much. We'll be talking to you again a little bit later in the night.